Welcome to the Relationship Diversity Podcast, where we celebrate, question, and explore all aspects of relationship structure diversity, from soloamory to monogamy to polyamory and everything in between, because every relationship is as unique as you are. We'll bust through societal programming to break open and dissect everything we thought we knew about relationships, to ask the challenging but transformational questions: who am I, and what do I really want in my relationships? I'm your guide, Carrie Jaroslaw, best-selling author, speaker, intuitive, and coach. Join me as we reimagine all that our most intimate relationships can become. As promised, I'm back at the end of this second season. I've had 9 episodes with incredible conversations with these guests that I've learned so much from. I have worked through judgments of myself, of others, and a lot of that came from information and learning another person's experience is always so helpful in working through personal judgments and self-judgments. And that's what this podcast has always been. It's been me learning about relationship diversity and all the various ways that relationships can show up. And this podcast has helped me open my mind, and I'm hoping that it has also helped you to open your mind and learn about things maybe you didn't know about before listening. In the almost 150 episodes that I've posted since my first episode, which was on September 27th, 2022, I've shared a lot about myself and my life and how I grew up. And one of the things that you may have heard me talk about is that I've always felt supported. Growing up, my mother and somewhat my father, but my mother was always telling me, you can do whatever you put your mind to. It was such a blessing to grow up with this belief system because it allowed me to follow my passions, even though they seemed really crazy to a lot of people. And yes, Dad, I'm talking to you because my dad, my amazing dad, listens to my podcast, and I would come up with some ideas about next projects or next directions with my work, and he would just look at me like, I don't even understand why you would do that or why you would give up everything that you've worked for. And I think it comes from that original belief that I can accomplish anything I put my heart and my mind to. But that's the important part, is that I need to feel passionate about my work. And as much as I love this podcast and love the connections that I have made, and I have made many deep, fulfilling friendships from some of the guests that I've interviewed, I realized over the past year that my passion for the podcast had left me. And I found that because every time I tried to get to my microphone, to this place, which for years I loved, every time I would sit behind my microphone in those early days, I would just take a deep breath and come alive and feel the passion. But over the last year, I just couldn't get myself behind this microphone. And so that was a sign for me to do some real deep thinking and feel into what was going to be the future. And I think what I realized was that I will always love talking about relationships. I will always love relationship diversity. I will always love learning about relationships. However, I am going to pass the torch to incredible creators and podcasters who are continuing this conversation. And I have lots of those linked through my Buzzsprout website, where you can go there, and I'll put that link in the show notes, and then you can click on over to the creators that I suggest you follow if you're not already following, because there are incredible people who have been having this conversation for a long time, newer people who are having this conversation, and you are in great hands with them. And I feel the need to assure you that this was not an easy choice. I sat with this for over a year, and I wanted to get this final 9 episodes out because I really wanted to see whether it was a phase I was going through or whether it was something that was staying with me. And what I realized was that it wasn't just a phase, but it was really where I saw myself going, which is other projects that were igniting that passion within me. And I'm excited to tell you about those in a little bit. I think what I really want to encourage each and every one of you is to check in with yourself. Check in with how you're feeling. Are you passionate about what you're doing? And I get it. Some of us have jobs that we can't just up and leave. And I actually have a business that I can't just up and leave. So I'm doing everything that I'm doing in addition to that. However, with this passion that I have finally felt again, I felt this at the beginning with this podcast, and it seemed over the last year to be sadly missing. I even wondered, am I ever going to feel passionate about something again? It took a lot of patience. But with that passion, I can do my other work that I can't just abandon and then come home on my free time. The passion is what pushes me through and excites me to sit down at my computer and work on these new projects. So if you have had something in the back of your mind that you're excited to try, I encourage you to just take one step towards doing something like that and say out into the world or say to yourself or say to a friend, this is something I've always wanted to do. Put it out there and then watch what comes to you. This leads me into the experience that I had, which ignited this new project of mine. I am a big fan of music, of specific kind of music, high frequency music. I also love subliminals and meditation. They help me to quiet my mind in a very loud and chaotic world. And so I have had this thought for a very long time of something I'd like to do. I put it out to the universe, and seemingly out of nowhere, a video came into my feed. And it was, if you've ever thought about doing this kind of thing, here is how you would do it. I happened to have about an hour of free time in between the things that I needed to do that day. And so I watched it and I took notes and I realized, oh, I actually can do that vision, that passion that I have. And so it took me about a week to figure it out. A week of lots of activity, lots of obligations, yet the passion and the excitement is what pushed me through. And I just kept taking one step forward. I worked through the frustrations of not knowing how to do it, of figuring it out. And I had a kind of childlike curiosity about it. That curiosity was the thing that ignited momentum. It ignited my momentum when I faced those challenges and pushed me through them. So, to tell you about this new project, it is a channel on YouTube called Embrace Truth Frequencies. It's a sanctuary for empaths, highly sensitive people, people with tender hearts, people who want to experience healing. And I am currently creating high frequency, love infused healing music that I am crafting myself. And I am also doing subliminals to help with healing and short meditations. This incorporates my love of healing work. If you've listened to previous episodes, you've heard me talk a little bit about the healing work that I've done. I started my healing journey, my personal healing journey, back in 1995, and I became a Reiki master in 2001 and added the modality of theta healing to it, which is an incredible modality that helps with belief reprogramming on the energetic level. And I've been doing that since 2004. So I'm bringing all of those skills and all of those modalities into this channel. If you've gotten a lot from this podcast and you'd like to support me in that channel, it's free to subscribe. Those subscriptions really, really help me reach more people who could benefit from this healing music and healing work. The music is also something that people have told me that they sleep to. So you can just put it on while you're sleeping or while you're resting or working even. It is really meant to support you embracing your true self, which is another theme that I've talked about here in the podcast. I'm also hoping, and I've had this vision for a while, I'm going to do a whole relationship series. And so some of the subliminal work that I'd like to include is subliminals for healing relationship wounds and for embracing diverse relationship structures. So I am going to tie some of what I've worked on here into that. And if you don't know anything about subliminals or you've never tried them, I will say that I've been listening to subliminals for almost 5 years, and they have helped me so much because you just put them on. They're affirmations and beliefs and programs that play at a low level, so you can't really hear what they're saying, but it is going past your conscious mind and into your subconscious. I just had a friend of mine tell me this incredible story about subliminals and Spanish lessons. When she was a little girl, she was having a lot of trouble in Spanish class. Her mom started playing a Spanish lesson at a low volume while she was sleeping. After her mom started playing that tape, her Spanish grades improved vastly, and she could understand Spanish at a greater level that she couldn't really explain. So anyway, go check that out. Let me know what you think. The one thing I like about the YouTube platform is that there can be more of a conversation, and I always love connecting with people in that way. And on to the next project that I'm really excited about. This is something that I'm doing with my partner, John. We had moments over this year where we were feeling really disillusioned by how divisive this world had become. And we wanted to do something about it. We were tired of just complaining and feeding into the divisiveness. And so we started coming up with some ideas about what we can do to build bridges, to build connections between people who are alike, but also people who are different. And so we have started a mission-driven apparel company, and it'll be launching later this spring. Our mission is to create more than clothing, to craft wearable invitations to love, belong, and imagine a more compassionate world. Our apparel and shirts and goods are more than fabric. They're messages in motion. With every piece, we will be inviting people to connect, belong, and believe in a more loving and inclusive world. We believe that this is compassion in action for those who know that kindness can change everything. We're also going to be donating a percentage of every purchase to an organization who is doing something similar, who is creating intentional points of connection, who is looking at humanity and finding ways for us to connect, who are looking at ways that kindness can heal the divide. So if you would like to get notified about the launch and be a part of what we're calling Bridge Builders, I'll have a link in the show notes that will lead you to a form to sign up to get more information. We're super excited about this, and it just feels really good to work on something that can make this world a better place. Both of these projects were birthed from deep inner reflection, from pausing, from stopping the train. It was moving 100 miles per hour, but I just decided to stop and go inward. And it has helped me become more hopeful for the future, for my future, for my children's future, and for the world's future. When I started focusing on these projects and on the kindness that is around me and the love that is around me, I started seeing more of that instead of more of the anger and the divisiveness and the chaos. And I'm aware of all the stuff that's still out there. But as I've said before, one small act of kindness, one small act of care can have a ripple effect throughout the world. So just for a moment, just for one moment a day, bring yourself out of the chaos and do something kind for a stranger, for a loved one, for yourself, and see how that makes you feel. And with that, I am officially ending this podcast by sending so much love out to you, so much gratitude out to you wherever you are in the world. And it wouldn't be a relationship diversity podcast ending if I didn't end with stay curious. And that's a wrap. Thanks so much for being a part of the Relationship Diversity Podcast journey. After nearly 150 episodes, I've made the decision to bring the podcast to a close. All past episodes will remain available so the learning, reflection, and inspiration can continue. If you'd like to stay connected with me, I'd love to invite you to a couple of new projects that are unfolding. You can find me on YouTube at Embrace Truth Frequencies, a sanctuary for healing through high-frequency music, subliminals, and meditations. I'm also excited to share a new project I'm creating with my partner John called Weaving Messages, a mission-driven apparel company launching later this spring. We're crafting wearable invitations to love, belong, and co-create a more compassionate world. If you'd like to be a part of this movement and become a bridge builder, sign up to be notified when we launch. The link is in the show notes. Until then, I'm sending you so much love today and always.